Proper Punters, brought to you by CrossBet. Are you ready to level up your punting game?
Welcome back to another week of Proper Punters, and it's always good doing this show after we have a good week.
Yeah, the weekend.
Welcome, Tommy Forward. You put the little cherry on top with the winner in Belmont in the last.
Yeah.
Well, not in the last, but later in the day.
Yeah, it was good to get out with one. It was a bit of a rough day in Sydney and Melbourne and Eagle Farm, but fired off at Belmont and got a result.
That's all right. I got us going early, and you finished them off late. It was good. It's all about a team effort here.
That's it, mate.
How did you find the track played in Eagle Farm?
It was okay, kind of up and off, I found. But
kind of roughly how we predicted?
Yeah. I still think you didn't want to be hard on that fence, which is what we said. Jockeys were kind of finding a little way off. I was pretty sick in the early part of the meeting when Paray was a moral beat early in the day. But then J-Mac repaid the punters with 4 other winners. So
he did.
That helped. But,
and broadsiding, how fucking good is this horse?
Yeah, very impressive.
He has just gone from strength to strength to strength. What's the John O'Shea horse that beat him earlier in his career?
Sits up on speed, doesn't it? Leads.
I've just gone blank.
Yeah, can't recall that name.
It's definitely a horse to follow. We'll come back to me soon. But I think it's a horse that's also going to be a horse to follow moving forward. But yeah, broadsiding, his win was very impressive. But I'm assuming he goes away for a spell now.
$8 for the Cox Plate at Tab. Wouldn't suggest taking it, but
no, definitely not.
Definitely, they're respecting it as a proper horse.
I reckon this week looks like it could be a little bit of a battle. We've got an Ipswich track. It can be a little bit tricky when you go to these, obviously, the tracks that aren't usually your Saturday racing.
Yeah, these standalone meets.
These standalone meets can be a little bit scary. And then in Sydney, track's currently a soft 7. Rain forecasted for the day. I think we've seen with this Randwick track, when you get rain all week and then it stops and clears and you get drying weather, the track can race quite well.
Yeah, definitely.
But when it rains mid-meeting, they don't even get through the meeting at times. So it's going to be a tricky one to be tipping early, and I think anything that we do or anything that I send out will come with a caution of I'd be very, very careful. And probably I personally myself are going to be waiting, but I'm obviously going to send out the early bets. And if you do want the late bets, come join the Discord and get the late mail. It was really good up until today, where I got bent over and absolutely copped it. But I think we've had a really good 2 weeks, and then racing has this unbelievable way of, just when you think you're on top, ripping it from under you.
Yeah, definitely.
The old seconds disease. It's worse than COVID.
Yeah.
But all right, let's rip in. Let's have a look at this Ipswich meeting. We kick off with race 7.
Yeah, the Ipswich Cup. The
Ipswich Cup, not my sort of race, but give us the speed, Tommy. Tell me about it.
I didn't see too much speed in this. I thought Zoom On, from the Gay Waterhouse, would want to lead throughout, and that was kind of it in terms of taking up the speed. I thought Zoom On had strong second up form. The trial since the plane run fresh gives me some confidence, and he kind of did the same thing last preparation. Was a bit flat first up before rebounding strong second up to run second, I think, in a strong Rosehill race. I think the way the track will play this Saturday too, there could be an opportunity for on-pace horses to get their advantage, which will suit Zoom On more. And the way I was sort of looking at the race is playing that on an each-way basis. I thought the favourite Luncey's was well respected by the market and was a definite chance. Regal Lion too won this race last year, so I think it's been a plan all along for Annabelle to get the horse back to Ipswich where it's won prior.
I have a feeling it wasn't last year, but it was a couple of years ago. Gay absolutely owned this meeting. It was a meeting that
I think she won a couple of races.
She won a couple of the key races. This might have even been one of them.
Yeah,
and I think, as you said, if the track does play somewhat on pace or up there, and obviously no disadvantage about there, her horses will definitely be well suited, won't they?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I agree with your comments to Zoom on. It's certainly not a race that I'm jumping out of trees to want to get involved in. Staying races tend not to be my forte.
Yeah.
Sometimes deep into a spring carnival, different story with real quality animals. But I am going to go with Luncy's. I am sticking with him here. I looked, I went, oh, and tried to go past him. And then the more I looked, I went, I think the Chris Lee stable's going quite good. I think he is third up to a suitable trip. I think he does, even though he has won over the mile in the past, I genuinely think he does want the 2,000 metres and plus.
Yeah.
So I think 2,100 metre suits. I think the inside box suits. He will sit closer, and currently the track looks like it's going to be 5, and it should stay around there. You expecting?
Yeah, I think it should improve to a 4.
Exactly. I actually think he's a horse that does his best racing on dry tracks, and I think his 2 runs have been on a soft 7 and a soft 6. So I think he improves there, and I think he's definitely the horse to beat. I think class might show here, and what's a pretty average field.
Yeah, moderate.
That was the word we're looking for the owners.
Yeah.
It's Sky Racing.
Yeah.
All right, you happy with that? Let's move along to race 8, the Eyeliner Stakes.
Another tricky race. I found all these races at Ipswich were open and difficult to sort of find angles.
Yeah.
But I had
how's the speed look?
fast tempo again. I think
Who takes up the pace?
I thought Jigsaw and Fancify would take up the pace. I thought Watergoes would look for a soft run from barrier 1, maybe box seat. Wouldn't want to get buried on the fence because then that'd be a bit of a tricky position. But I thought they were the 2 speed influences in the race. Looking at the favourite, Watergoes, coming off that Freedom Rally form over 1,500 metres, looks good form. Freedom Rally, I think, ran a track record on Saturday at Eagle Farm.
Yep.
Good subsequent form. The price is really screwed down now. I think 235 is. I wouldn't be taking that personally, especially if it gets buried on the fence and sort of in a big field. Don't want to be looking for the gaps at Ipswich where it's a short, straight, tight turning track. I think that would be a negative. Market likes Fancify, who comes up from Melbourne winning form. I was happy to take it on. I thought it's got a soft lead and control in its time in Melbourne, and now it has to come up and sort of cop a bit of pressure and come up in grade. So I was happy to take that on. And the one at odds that I thought could improve is Blazer Trail from the Kieran Maher stable. Trialled well, been off the scene for a while, but it's already been well supported in the market. But at double figures, I thought on each way basis, it could be the play in a tricky race.
Yeah, definitely. I had a bit of a look into this race. I thought the exact same thing. I saw there's a lot of pace in the race. I was kind of looking for those horses that might get that beautiful trail.
Yeah.
Blazer Trail was definitely one of them. I had it is probably one of my top picks for the race. I like the trials, obviously between the runs. Looks to get a lovely run from barrier 7. Obviously fresh up. I just thought, around $10 each way mark certainly looks to get a beautiful run. There's another one that's flying to pretty big odds at Wits End. I love this horse's run 2 starts ago. And then he was really up there on the pace, trying to match motors, and got a little bit tired late in the race with Valana and Mazu. This is
good form for this.
It's great form for this. Did get beaten 6-7 lengths. I thought from barrier 11, I would think and I would hope that she's going to try and slot in behind the pace that's inside of her. And I think if Sam can just get in, probably like say 5 or 6 behind 5 or 6 runners where they are going to be going at a good clip, she could just get a beautiful trail. And when he hit the line and savaged the line 2 back, it was when he was ridden with a sit. I think if he can be ridden in that similar style, I think you give this a shake at $26.
Definitely.
Around the $20 mark now. They were the 2 for me. I liked Blazer Trail at the $10, and I'd like that Wits End. Yeah. And just on that Wits End, he did have the win over Yellow Brick, which was at top of the order here. So, and concede Watergoes as a chance on the fence. Yeah, could be an issue at the price, but can easily see him winning.
Yep.
All right, we move to the last race, which is the Gay Waterhouse Classic. How does the speed look here?
Yeah, I'm predicting a fast tempo. I've got a couple of runners that want to sort of vie for the lead. I've got Black on Beauty Party for Two and Typhoon Tavi, who all want to sort of take up a prominent position.
Yep.
I think this will inject some pace into the race, and I'm looking for something sort of sitting off them with a turn of foot. And I think I landed on Wollombi, who's now trained by the Tony Gollan stable.
Yeah, moved up from Snowden.
Yeah,
and
Snowden's
his
moved.
trial at Deegan was quite good. I did look at that.
Yeah, it was quite impressive. I'm looking in a fast 1,200 metre race. I'm looking for something sort of with a 1,400 metre profile that has a turn of foot, and this horse ticks that box. So at the double figure odds, I think it opened at. I think it might be now shorter, but I think you can have an each way play on that. I thought the weakness in the market was Typhoon Tavi. Has to sit on a fast speed going up in grade, and I think it may get found wanting late.
Yeah, in total agreement with Wollombi. Did like the trial, has some good old Sydney form, and concede he'll be doing his best work late. I was a little bit interested in a horse here, Midnight in Tokyo, raced behind Willinga Beast last start, which was suited by an on-pace bias and was able to knock off Periel, which extremely unlucky. So you got to take your wins and a bit of luck when you get them. I still just really like the way this horse savaged the line, and I think if you can profile in a similar position here, hopefully not getting as far back as he was last start, or she was last start, and can sit a little bit closer. I as you said, I think you want to be looking for the horses that are in this race just doing their best work late and can probably run 1,400, and this is a horse that's won over 1,350 and placed 1,400. I think it's going to be well suited. Typhoon Tavi, I know, could get a little bit carved up if they don't go as hard as it does look on paper, which I think they will, or if they are able to take a little bit of a sit. I absolutely love the trial, and I don't think it's absolutely flying this horse. It's definitely come back. So if they were able just to take a little bit of a sit, I'll probably save on it and play those two. But if it does get carved up in front, well, I think your horse and my horse will be hitting the line good late.
Let's hope.
All right, let's go to race 8 in Sydney. We've finally got a little bit of listed race. We've got a little bit of quality coming back to Sydney racing again. The Civic Stakes. How did the pace look?
Yeah, I had a fast tempo again. I had Felix Majestic and Rise of the Masses wanting prominent positions. Tamerlane, the favourite with J-Mac on, has led a couple of times in its career, but I think James will be happy to opt for a box seat position here and just sort of let that speed go. Bit tricky with how the weather's pending. It looks like there's going to be rain on race day. We're not sure if it'll be before this race or after this race. So that kind of changes a lot of things. I think if we're in a heavy 9, heavy 10, I'd almost suggest not betting in the race, but soft 5, soft 6 kind of makes it a bit more predictable. What did you think?
Yeah, look, it's what we're looking at now to what we could be looking at come 4 o'clock or 3 o'clock on Saturday could be completely different. Yeah. And this is why when you got to look at the forecast, I wouldn't be diving into anything early personally. I would be waiting and reassessing because we could have a lot of scratchings. The track could be completely cast. Yeah, unless you're looking at a complete mudlark and you're that's the way you're betting, I'd be waiting on the day. Yeah. But let's just do the race, doing the form as it currently is at a soft 7. What have you found?
Yeah, I was happy to take Tamerlane on. I thought it was at a reasonable quote. Yeah. Was a bit plain fresh at Scone, tired late. Trial since, though, was electric, so I have to give it some respect, but I am going to look around it. I thought there was a couple of odds that could improve in a race where if Tamerlane doesn't show up, it's kind of a lottery who shows up. There's a couple that can bob up at odds when they produce their best stuff. One of them being Palmetto, tricky map, and the jockey's out of form, but I do concede it's got some nice stuff that it's done in its past at Randwick. Moving on to Substantial from the Snowden Yard. First up with Kieran McAvoy on. 34-1. I thought it trialled behind Tamerlane.
Trialled exceedingly well, didn't he?
Yeah. Has a strong turn of foot and if can be hitting the line late. And then Flying Crazy, who's hard fit, handles the wet conditions and has some stuff in its career where it can run well in this race.
Well, it hit the line with the Stadio Mastala, and there was nothing between. If anything, it was the better run of the two.
Yeah, I thought it hit the line a bit stronger than Stadio Mastala.
But it certainly did,
so there's a couple at double figures that I think can run well.
Yeah, no, definitely concede and agree, especially with the Flying Crazy. His last run was huge. Really, really good. You've got to keep a close eye when this track can deteriorate. So if it, for some reason, does get better and the rain doesn't come till late and the track improves, I think if you're in that 5 or 6 mark, I think it's a track that you can run on, and run on horses are suited. But as soon as it starts getting really sloppy, it becomes hard for horses to make and accelerate off from the back. And it's that same thing of up and off. You don't want to be on the fence. You want to be getting that little bit wider, but you don't want to be too far back because you can't accelerate. And you're looking for horses that can handle it and a rock hard fit, because they will get bloody tired.
Absolutely.
I concede with what you said about the run of Tamerlane, but God, his trial was good between runs, and he's just a horse that can really suck you in. Mm-hmm. And the thing is, he is going to be bowling up there. Like, he is going to be in that part of the track that's probably going to be suited to him. Yep. But at the same time, the run wasn't good, and he's pretty well found in the market currently. Barrier 1, I probably won't... Look, it's not going to be advantage to him, but at the same time, I know if there's someone that can get him off the fence in the right part of the track, it's J-Mac. I'm a little bit keen on a horse if the track can stay soft and if it wasn't to get wetter. And I think if it does get really wet, it will probably be scratched. And that's Straight Acer. Mm-hmm. His last run was phenomenal in the BRC sprint behind Here to Shock Freedom Rally, and that was the run where there's the eye-catching run of Valana before it come out and won by 5. Yep. And I think Freedom Rally come out and won the start after also, wasn't it? Yeah, the
form's looking good.
So the form out of the race is huge. He's actually got blinkers first time, which is, like, he's a 4-year-old, so he's not too old. But so I think Ed knows the horse is flying. It's a great show of intent. Mm-hmm. He has been a little bit slow out early in his races, so I think they obviously want to focus him. He's drawn barrier 4. They expect him to sit a lot closer.
Yeah.
If the track isn't fucked, I am very, very keen on the each way basis. He's around $7. I think this is an each way bet to nothing. Yeah. I think this horse is flying. Very scared of how bad the track is. If it's all right, I'm on. And if he doesn't run here, put him in your black book. Wait to see where he goes, because I think Ed has this horse humming and he's ready to go.
Yeah. Definitely.
All right, let's move along to our best bets. We will start off with you, Tommy.
I've got 3 best bets this week. We'll stay at Randwick, actually, pending weather, but I'm accounting for these horses to handle both wet or dry ground. Randwick race 7, Dipsy Doodle, resumes for the Godolphin stable with J-Mac on. The first up run last preparation was a total forgive, just went too hard at Rosehill, gassed out. Al Coberson got off its back and slingshot and ran a track record. The trial recently is very good, and I think the gear changes now with the earmuffs going on. I think the stable are trying to get this horse to settle and then show a turn of foot over the final 400. We move to Randwick race 10. I'm probably going to butcher this pronunciation, but Elo U comes up from Melbourne after some strong second placings, where I think last start Damien Lane just opted to go too slowly in front. I think this horse's best asset is rolling along at a solid tempo and using its fitness to get other horses off the bit and chasing. And then we'll move down to Flemington race 9, the Black Cloud. We were on this horse last start and it was initially disappointing, but the time and the sectionals were really strong, and I think Fleetwood, the horse that won, might be a very good horse. Joe Pride sends it down to Flemington now, up to the 1100 and drawn the right part of the track in 13. I think this horse can bounce back for us.
All right, beautiful. Thank you, Tommy. Great start. Yeah, obviously very scared of the track and how it's going to be, and I've tried to find horses that I think will handle either, and I've probably lent in the way of horses that will handle a wet track. Kicking off with race 1, number 1, Tanglewood. 2 starts back was exceptional winning, flying to the outside to win at Randwick on a very heavy track. Didn't go right last start, went back to the trials and is trialled exceptionally well. I think it would be extremely hard to beat. And I think he's actually weighted okay after the claim. Race 4, number 13. This is a horse I've had to mention on copious amounts of occasions. It's a wonder. And that was because she didn't make it into a field. Then the races were called off. Then it was scratched. So she finally got to the races. She ran fourth, just died on a run. And I think the gap between runs was what killed her. Up to the 1800, suited here, down in the weights. I think she'll be winning. I really do. Race 5, number 8. Kerguelen, I might have stuffed up the name, but debut winner from Godolphin, won by 9.5 lengths on a heavy track, beat what looks to be maybe an average field, but God, couldn't have been more impressive to the eye. Love that J-Mac's been booked. Think it'll be extremely hard to beat. And we move to race 8, number 4, Straight Acer. Hope the track doesn't get too wet for this one. But I just loved his run last start. Got too far back. Absolutely savage to the line in what looks a really strong form race. And I think this is probably a step back from what he was against last start. Blinkers go on. Think he can settle closer from the gate, and then I think he will just win at the $7. And if you get that, that's on the BTFU hub. 1 click, straight on. Anything else? You're finding anything out wide for us, Tommy?
Want to look to Newcastle on Saturday. Marcus not out yet, but race 6, I believe, Imposant from the Chris Lee stable. Resumed strongly first up, hit the line well. I'm not sure what the market will come out at, but I think anything around 220, 230 looks like a good price. I think it can run well second up.
All right, beautiful. Thank you. Well, yeah, so we've lots of Newcastle tips if you join the Discord. Get on the Instagram, go into the WAP, sign up, come and join, and we'll see you there. See you next week.
See you.
What are you prepared to lose today? Set a deposit limit. For free and confidential support, call the number on the screen or visit the website.